Hi Diamonds, we're back and today we're going to look at wounds to the head. So we've got anybody that's got a scratch to the head or managed to get an injury or a blow to the head. Obviously if they've had a blow to the head you need to start thinking about concussion. So I had this wonderful discussion with a casualty and their parents recently. The casualty was elbowed in the nose and I said you need to watch out for signs of head injury, and they said but it's not a head injury, it's a blow to the nose. Well, the nose is attached to the head, so when you think about injuries you can't isolate the part that's injured, you have to think about the impact on the surrounding area as well. So let's get on and do wound to the head. Obviously, again I'll remind you, you're going to have to talk to your casualty, get information from them, how are they feeling, what happened, how did it happen, because your decision might be different depending on what they tell you. So if they're telling you that somebody hit them with a hammer, then obviously they're going to hospital. If they say, well, they walked past an alley and it scratched their head, you probably just need to clean and dress the wound. And that you might get away with a plaster, but today we're doing wounds that won't tolerate a plaster because they're just too big. So today what we're going to do is look at severe wounds to the head. They're bleeding quite badly. Obviously with wounds, again, I'll say that we need to clean them before we dress them and make sure there's no debris in them. But if there's a lot of blood flow, it's too messy, you haven't got resources, then you might protect it from further infection. I have my casualty here today. Say hello.
Hello.
So have a seat. And we're going to imagine there's a wound to the head just here. And the reason why I've located the wound here is because you can see it. It would work the same if the wound was here or anywhere else. You just switch the pad around. So we've got our pad. So we just tear that open. Again, follow the principle of the short side comes out first and then the long side. So you just pull the pad and then the short side, then the pad and then the long side. So rather than opening it all out, what you do is you ask the casualty to hold that to their head. Hold that to your head. No, just hold the pad. Thank you. Right. And then you're just taking it around. Notice I've left this side open. Same principle. I'm going to keep it tense. I'm going to go round. And make sure you don't get it in their eyes. Okay, once you get to here, you can tie it off. So we'll do a knot at the back. We'll tidy that up. I'm going to remind you that getting the pressure correct is the most important bit. Yes, it's nice if the bandage looks pretty, but really it's about getting the pressure on. So even if there were circumstances where you just got the casualty to hold the pad to their head, that's sufficient because it stems the blood flow. Right, how does that feel? Is it secure? Is it tight?
Yeah.
Good. So we're checking with the casualty. Now what you do next is you get your triangular bandage. Okay. Open it out. Notice there's no fold. I'm just keeping it completely open. And I'm going to drape that over the head. So when I do this with classes, I often hear them say, refer to do-rag and things like this. Well, yes, you can call it that, but same principle, same principle. So here's what I'm doing. I'm going to get him to hold it again. Can you hold on to that? That makes it neater for you and easier. It's easier if you're standing behind your casualty. So all I'm doing is the beginnings of a shoelace knot. I'm just doing a simple knot, right? And then I'm going to bring the two towels round the front and tie it off here. Now I'm just going to get my casualty to stand up, okay, and turn around and stay there. Now if you look, just hold on there again for me. Hold on there. I'll show you the knot. So all I've done is I've taken the two towels, making sure it's not in his eyes. I've just done this. When you do that, now you can see it looks a bit, he's got little ears and it's sticking out a bit, so you just pull this through makes it all nice and tense, and you can tuck that bit in. So you tuck that bit in and it'll tidy the whole thing up and tighten it up. Hold on to it, hold on to it. Thank you. Right, and then you take the 2 towels and turn around for me. Turn around. And then you tie those 2 bits off to each other. So you can see I've got very little to play with there, and the dressing is tight, and I try to tie off not on the pad, so away from the pad. Okay, so I'll just leave the knot like that, but you can do your little shoelace knot and then it can be picked out again. So see if I can feed that through. Yep, there it goes. Okay, done. So we can just spend, if we want to, we can spend time tidying up the dressing, and then that wound is taken care of. Have a seat. It's important to check with the casualty whether there's any dizziness, any other symptoms. If they're fine with their other symptoms, it's just a case of inspecting the wound and changing the dressing later if they need to, or if that's healing up nicely, then maybe we don't need to do that. We can leave it exposed to heal. At the moment, it's protected from infection and it's secure, and there's pressure on it, and they're not bleeding everywhere, so you've got all of that covered. The other thing to remember, protect yourself from infection. So when you're doing this, you'll be wearing gloves. You might want an apron if there's a lot of blood. Consider all those things and make sure you wash your hands afterwards. And any soil dressings, dispose of those properly. So in countries where you have biohazard bins, you'll put it in the biohazard bin and dispose of that waste that way so that it actually gets incinerated. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to let me have videos of your attempt. I'm looking forward to them. Take care. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye.